Hey, it's your girl MJ, and welcome to the Booty Call to Bride channel. I am your girl Michelle Tillman, and if you have not been watching and you don't already know, I have done tons of reality shows as a production assistant on stuff that's come here to the Charlotte area. So I just want to give you guys my 2 cents on this week's episode, season 12, episode 11 of Married at First Sight. Okay. So for the first time since we've been getting started, I'm going to talk about somebody else other than Chris and Paige because I'm like pretty much over them, okay? So a lot of the episode today that I, watched and saw the most from was Ryan and Clara. So they start off the episode talking about how she's going to be picking out all this stuff for his place, and of course, they show her talking and him looking like, sure. He's always saying sure. That's his favorite word. He reminds me of one of my coworkers. But so she seems so into like picking everything out and the decor and how she has all these ideas and how she's going to throw away everything except his lazy boy and how his dresser needs to be replaced. And there's just so many things that she's naming off. And so they were also meeting up with Erik and Virginia and, asking each other, so do you feel married? And Ryan mentioned something like, at the beginning, they kind of felt like they were dating, but now he's actually starting to feel married. And then Virginia started telling how her and Erik were saying they love each other. And then Clara, in her little confessional, got up in her feelings like, yeah, I'm happy for them that they married and they happy and they in love, but with an attitude because she wishes that's where she was, but she got matched up with the guy who ain't never told anybody that he's loved them before. And then they all start talking about, well, how long would it be? What's the longest or what's the soonest you ever told someone that you love them? That's what Ryan asked to them. And they were like, oh, this was the soonest. I'm talking about the experiment, the Married at First Sight experiment, which they had been married about a month. And so they were saying that's the soonest. And Clara basically was like, well, if you ain't said nothing in 6 months, we're going to have a little problem. Like, I'm going to probably be done. I'm probably out of here. Which I totally agree. Like, I just don't understand what someone could possibly be waiting for 6 months. That's just way too long, especially in the condensed circumstances that they are in. I feel like she has every right to feel like he should drop the L-bomb by then. I don't think that is like a huge deal at all. So they also show them going on like a little helicopter ride, and she's taking pictures and she's talking about how she thinks he's waiting for this magical moment to feel in love before they have sex, but that she's still sexually frustrated. But then when they go watch the movie in the backyard that with all the decor and stuff they came up with, she was basically saying that, everything is going good. And it's like, it's one clip, she's like, I need the sex, this is awful. Then this next clip, like, she's like, things couldn't be going any better. So I don't know what, like, Clara, what are you thinking, girl? I'm confused. Totally confused. And then, pardon me if I don't know what condition this is, but was it just me or her whole neck, like right here? It was red. I don't know if it's sunburn. The white girls who be watching, can y'all help me out? Was that sunburn? Was it like psoriasis? I might be saying the wrong words, but I don't know what was going on with her neck. And the only reason I'm mentioning that, I'm not trying to be funny, I promise, but the only reason I'm mentioning that is like, well, does she have other skin issues with her body that may be a turn off to Brian? Because I'm someone who has skin issues, and I understand how it can affect possibly someone who you are dealing with. So I'm just wondering, like, okay, is he turned off by something else other than her attitude or her thoughts or her past sex history? Not sure, but the red neck just made me think, what is going on below the neck? I mean, I don't know. So anywho, she also mentioned that, I don't know what I would do for decision day based on this last month. So I can't tell what's going on with Clara. Is she happy? Is she not? I don't know. Okay, so yeah, my longest page is still Paige and Chris, but I'm gonna go to Erik and Virginia next. So Erik and Virginia, she said she wanted to come on Married at First Sight because every person who she's been all into hasn't been all into her back. So I'm like, okay, she's showing that I want to do something different. I want to change, because if she was truly happy in the way she was living, then she would not have signed up for the show. She had a little picnic thing. She put things together for Erik, and then they was talking about Clara, talking about she don't seem like she's herself when she's with Ryan. I guess she just is not comfortable anymore. I don't know. So they're talking about moving in together, and of course Erik defaults to his, well, you know, I done this before, this whole moving in thing before, you know, because I kind of know how this goes. Like, I hate when he says that, because like Virginia says on later in the episode, we both have failed relationships. So you might think you know how something goes, but clearly whatever you did before did not work. It might not have been in that area as far as moving in and combining stuff, but whatever you did before didn't work. That's why it ended. So maybe we don't need to go with what you already know, Erik. And then I don't know what to feel like watching the show. He seems like he only wants things his way, and he was like, well, I own and you rent, and it makes sense for you to move in with me, which technically, yes, that does make sense, but she's saying she doesn't feel comfortable. But he is so like this, well, I know where I'm going after this is over. I don't know where you going, but I'm going back to my place and you can come and join me, and pretty much. So his like my way or the highway attitude, it's just kind of annoying. Even if he is right, like he said on the Unfiltered show, even if he's right, it's still a way that you say things so that somebody can receive what you're saying. I think most of his stuff is like, I pretty much agree with a lot of the stuff he says, just not the way that he delivers it. And it's all about delivery. So they go to Erik's family's hangar to go and watch their wedding video for the 1 month anniversary. And that looked cool. It looked fun. He was showing off. He was the pilot for their flight. You know, they didn't have to hire nobody to have the pilot because he is the pilot. And so then they go to exchange gifts, and Virginia brings out this big old blanket with her face and the dog face. And he was like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, he don't want that blanket. And she was like, well, it'll be for you when you're traveling. Shit, sis. Virginia, he didn't want that blanket. And then she gave him the little sex cards where he play little games, and that's cool. That's cute. That was a cute gift. But then he returns a gift to her, which is a picture frame with the coordinates of where they first met. And it took her a little minute. She was looking at the thing like, oh, the coordinates where we met. And then she was like, oh, this is wonderful. So I think once she understood what it was, she liked it. So kudos to them for getting the gifts, at least one gift that each other liked. But I don't think that technically first impression that either one of them liked the gifts that the other person gave. It's like they gave gifts for themselves, but for the other person. Like, you got to learn to give what people want, not what you would like if you were them. So another thing that Virginia said is that she is still worried that Erik will hurt her. But then he says he has a unique trust for her. He's feeling the best he's ever had so far with her. But then he said he's still a little torn because on her end, he don't fully know her. Erik, which one is it? Do you have a unique trust for her, or are you still a little torn? He can't make up his mind either. Him and Clara both don't know. Like, they'll say stuff like, and if she doesn't like this, I'm done. Or this is the best marriage ever. Or couldn't be any better. And I can't tell, like, what they are really gonna do. So, okay, let's go to Paige and Chris with their nonsense. Chris said that Paige was late to their date. They had a little basketball date. She said she was feeling some type of way about the brand new car. This is what she said in her confessional. And then she came out playing basketball, showing her little body. She had the sports bra, the little small stomach in her little bra and leggings coming to play basketball. I guess she said, "You gonna get these good leggings. You gonna remember how I'm looking today. You might not like me anymore, but I'm gonna be cute while I'm being filmed." Okay. So he was like, remember when I asked you about what your goals were and you didn't know? So I was like, okay, he was throwing some shade that she didn't know what her goals were. She seemed so ambitious, so I don't understand how she didn't know what her goals were. But he was saying that his goal was to have several millions and from all these businesses that he's going to have. Okay. So then she asked him, "Hey, I found out you was actually engaged twice. What was that about?" He starts going into like all the details about how he was only 20, he wasn't mature, he wasn't financially stable. So she was advised by who, I don't know, like he had experts back then, but she was advised to like move on and not be with him because he was not financially stable. So I don't know if that's what tainted him now to always lead with money and always talk about money and talk about things and tell us that he bought somebody a brand new Benz. Like, dude, if you work at the car dealership, like buying a brand new Benz, like unless you pay cash for it, like I'm not impressed at all, not impressed at all. So she also said that she appreciates them hanging out and that she enjoys spending time with him. And Chris was on the basketball court with his hands back like this, with his knees like turned to each other, looking real sweet. But okay, so then they show Paige going back to talk to the other ladies about him buying the ex a car, and they were like, "Girl, that's so disrespectful. It's not even about the money to spend, because yeah, it might still be his own money, his own account, but just out of respect, let me know what you doing like for her. Like if I'm really your wife and you're looking at me like your wife, why am I not included in this conversation?" And so Briana was like, Paige signed up for somebody who's ready for marriage right now, but he ain't ready. He might have thought he was ready, but he's not ready. And she says, again, it is so hard to watch. And she said, Paige was like, I feel like I'm learning a complete stranger. Sis, you are learning a complete stranger. He was a complete stranger then. He's still a complete stranger because you really don't even know him. And so she said she's having a hard time getting to know him and separating what she already knows about him. It's because you're not supposed to separate it. It's supposed to all stay together. What you know, you can't just pretend like he ain't dish you. You can't pretend like he ain't say, "I ain't attracted to you." You can't pretend like all that stuff ain't happened. Talking about you the one who said you wanted to reset, but you reset in real life don't really exist. Stuff is still in your head of what they did to you. It's gonna take time for it to like not be in your head if you decide to just, work it out. So anyways, then they went to a confessional of Paige in some awful wig. Did anybody see that? She looked, I don't know, it was the lighting. It was bad. I'm glad that was the only confessional, hopefully, that they showed of her with the wig and the lighting. It just made her face look weird and it did not show how her true beauty can exude. So then Chris and Paige meet up. He has on his like sleazy car salesman suit, a pinstripe or old school local preacher suit, and they were playing pool, and she said they were having fun. And then all of a sudden he's like, "I think she's beautiful now. She's attractive on the inside and the outside." And I'm like, okay. And he's talking about, "I like the body." Okay, of course you do. She's saying that she wants consistency and communication, but then he says, "I done called you like 5-7 times and you don't pick up your phone." She's like, "I was on the phone with my mama. Why didn't you follow up with a text?" And he's like, "What I'm tired of is you only talking to me whenever we're on camera. You don't talk to me off camera. You don't want to meet up off camera. You only want to do everything on camera." So I'm like, wait, what? So is this right, Paige? Or do you only want to hang out on camera? Or is it that you're just following the guidelines of what the show is telling you? Okay, y'all have this at this time and this at this time. Maybe he don't want to come and be told when to come, when to show up. So he tries to do things outside of that. And so maybe she's like, no, you need to show up to what they planned. And so she doesn't want to do other things. I don't know, but I'm so confused because I'm like, she didn't even correct him, as if like she didn't even say, no, I do answer the phone. No, I do call you back. They didn't show that at all. So I'm like, okay, something ain't right. Paige, what is going on? Are you acting for us? That would make sense, because I'm just like, what happened? We thought you was blowing his phone up and he wasn't answering. And now he's saying he blow your phone up and you don't answer and you didn't correct us. So what are we to think? What are we to think? But she basically said, well, you had someone who was committed to the process and you threw it all away. Well, if he threw it all away, then you should just end the experiment, as if the way you said you was going to, you know, it's over. An expert or the producers were like, so what are you going to do from now? She was like, well, I'm going to move on, you know, by myself, and I'm going to be married, I'm going to have kids, and all that's going to happen later because it's God's will for my life. So I don't know. I just feel like next episode, he's going to say something in her ear and she's going to be like, oh, Chris, let's reset again. I don't know what is going on, but it was just really weird to me that he said he was reaching out to her and she didn't respond. That's not what I was expecting to hear at all. Okay, so Vincent and Briana, I don't have much to say about them because everything seems to be going pretty good. They had a dinner. They was on the boat. They watched their ceremony back. He remembered her pescatarian meal with the salmon outside. I was like, the food was already out there when they got on the boat. That food is probably cold. But then when I heard Ryan and Clara talking, and Clara said her food is cold, but it's okay. No, I would have been like, hold up, sis. We right outside the house. Put it in the microwave. Let's eat it. Let's warm it up before we eat it. But I digress. That's my inner fat kid talking. So Vincent and Briana had a cold salmon and they was talking and they was, you know, haha, loving and loving everything. And only thing that she said is that she thinks that he's more like all in than she is, that she's still nervous, but he tries to make her calm or whatever. But there's nothing else to say about them. I think they're going to make it. They're working. Things are, you know, going good for them. Jake and Haley, on the other hand, okay, hot mess, completely done. It's totally over for them. Haley says Jake does weird things and doesn't tell anyone that he's just being sarcastic. Of course, Married at First Sight loves bringing tarot card readers in, and they were basically saying stuff like, oh, okay, Haley's got to let go of the control, and that Jake, what was it, needs to release a strong energy that's causing Haley to have anxiety. Y'all know I'm saved, sanctified, Holy Ghost filled and fire baptized. I don't believe in all that tarot card. All you need to do is pray to the Lord to go ahead and end this marriage, because come on, let's be for real. They don't have anything in common except that they are single adults. And I just don't feel like they mesh. And so there's a lot else that I want to say about Jake and Haley, but I feel like I'm over time. She's saying that she's trying to press what they want on each other. She said they're trying to press what they want on each other, and that hasn't worked. He said they don't have a real married couple's bond, but hopefully they can continue to be present in what they're doing. But then by the end of the episode, she just is like, you know, I just don't like, he's saying like, I can't force a connection with someone who's not attracted to me. And she's like, well, I just don't have that romantic connection. She's so confused about it because she's usually so easily to connect to people. She said when they were first married, she was really optimistic, but now she don't know. But he's like, you making a big deal about stuff that's not even a big deal. You making a big deal about giving me a hug. Like you hug strangers. She's like, I sure do hug strangers. But if I'm saying I want to hug you, it don't matter about no strangers. We talk about me and you. So I'm like, okay, she's crying. He's like, you know, it's over. What are we doing with all this? And he's like, well, you know what? In 4 weeks, you don't got to see me no more anyway. And she's like, well, what are we doing? What are we doing? And she outside crying. Like, I mean, I just gave it my all. And, you know, so you know what? It's just a hot mess with them. And she's not attracted to him. And he can't get past it. Like, he's so offended that she's not attracted. And I think he should be thankful that she is being honest in that way. Not saying that Haley's perfect. I think she has some issues, for real issues. And I think Someone else would be very happy to be with Jake, but at the same time, he can't let go that she's not attracted to him. She says she don't got nothing else left to give, and neither do I. This review is over. Thank you guys for watching. Leave something in the comments down for me. Let me know what you think, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.